What's going on, guys? My name is Skill87, and in today's video I want to talk a little bit about Resident Evil 6, my impressions with the game thus far. I want to talk about the community and the websites, taking shots at the game, and how I feel that the gaming community really is going downhill, and how Capcom pretty much has possibly the worst fan base ever. I'm gonna get this out the way. Resident Evil 6 is fantastic, excellent. There has been nothing but blasphemy and lies on the internet about this game, in some attempt to bring it down. While Capcom's laughing in your face at the 4.5 million sales, it's possibly most successful game this year, if not for a long time. Because, unlike a lot of people who are on some bandwagon shit and just hate on something they never played, a lot of people actually bought the game, and they like it. I went to the midnight release at GameStop. Over 50 fucking people in one GameStop. That's a lot. That usually happens when Call of Duty or Halo comes out. And, some guy mentioned, well, this game's getting little scores. I kid you not, the entire GameStop's like, fuck the scores. Those people know what the fuck they're talking about. And I couldn't agree more. Lots of websites, big websites and small, minuscule, irrelevant reviewers are using this as an opportunity to get their name out there. You see, they see that people are hating on the game, they never played the game, and they make a review about it, talk about, oh, it's this and that, or it lacks this and that, but you've never played the game. I can tell. You cannot sit there and tell me with a straight face this game's bad. You can't. I will look at you with the most confused look. I'm playing the game. I beat Leon in Crystal's campaign. I'm currently playing Jake's. I'm not finding anything wrong with this game. It's one of the better games of 2012. It's fantastic. I'm enjoying the living fuck out of it. As a reviewer, it is people's jobs to give people honest and fair reviews. A lot of people let their opinion be the basis of their entire review. You cannot do that. That is something reviewers need to learn how to do. Just because you personally dislike a game does not mean automatically the score gets lowered. Prime example, me. I don't like God of War. Matter of fact, I always thought God of War is one of the worst games of generation. God of War to me is one of the most boring pieces of shit ever. What did I give God of War 3? Go look at my older video. I give it a 9 out of 10. Why? Because as a reviewer, I give games what they deserve. From a technical standpoint, gameplay standpoint, and sound standpoint, God of War 3 was good. Personally, it's not my thing. I could give two shits about Greek mythology and all the other bullshit, and I think Kratos is a bitch. But guess what? As a reviewer, it is my job to give you honest reviews. I cannot give a game a low score because I personally feel some type of way about it. That's not how reviews work. And if that's how you do your reviews, you're not a reviewer, you are irrelevant, and you need to stop. Because that's not how fucking reviewing works. Too many sites, especially the one on GameSpot, that was the most despicable review I've ever read. Like, the guy says nothing but lies in the entire video. I couldn't believe it. Like, straight up lied in the video. Literally, like, not even exaggerated. It was lied. I was like, what is this motherfucker talking about? You fucking 40-year-old still living in your fucking parents' basement, bitch. Are you serious? There's too many QuickTime events? What are you talking about? The QuickTime events are too hard to do? What are you talking about? The aiming system has changed? What are you talking about? Are you, like, what? How many times can you lie in one video? Are you shitting me? What is going on with these people? Lesser sites, trying to get their name out there, they'll make little articles in M4G, Resident Evil needs to die. I guarantee they never even played the game. Guarantee it. You see another thing people need to understand? Resident Evil was going to eventually change into this. A lot of people think that Resident Evil is supposed to stay some kind of slow-paced horror game. If you are a true fan of Resident Evil, then you would follow the storyline, and you would know that the zombies are a failed experiment when Umbrella was trying to create super soldiers. Hence the reason in the movies, it kind of follows that formula, that there's zombies, then there's super soldier zombies, then there's the zombies that fully fucking function like regular people. The Los Plagas. If you follow Resident Evil, you'd realize that if you put them all together, it would eventually lead up to what it is now. Resident Evil has always been about the bio-war, the war on bioterrorism. But you've always played from a horror standpoint in a sense that you're trying to escape, the situation you're in. And while that did last for a couple, that did last back in the PS1 days when that genre was still fresh, it was going to eventually evolve. And Resident Evil is still Resident Evil. A lot of people think that because it has mechanics that other games have, such as controls that don't suck. It actually, the game's fucking fantastic. I love the cover system. I love the dodge mechanics. I love how I can like just dodge fucking attacks. I love it. I love it. So good. So good. Just because the game has new mechanics, they say it's trying to be other games. That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. It's still Resident Evil. Have you played the game? Obviously not, if you're saying statements like that. Play the game. It's still Resident Evil. You're still fighting zombies and Los Plagas and mutations and really fucked up shit. There are still dark corridors and dark environments. You are not going to get scared of any game this generation. Horror franchise, that concept died a long time ago. There are no real horror games out right now. Why? Because it just doesn't work no more. It's like, sure, people are making comments in the comment section. When I was younger, I played Resident Evil, it was scary. Okay, well, for one, you're a bitch. 2, you were 12. And 3, I would just go back to part 1, you're a bitch. Because I played all the Resident Evils. Granted, there are moments where I go, oh shit. None of them are scary. You know what scary is? Scary is when you don't even play the game. That's scary. Scary is when you're so fucking freaked out to play the game, you don't play the game. None of the Resident Evils have ever done that. None. Resident Evil has always been about puzzle solving and survival. This whole horror aspect that people seem to be dick riding, that really never existed unless you were a complete utter bitch. And unlike the other YouTubers and the websites who are all on the bandwagon of hitting at Resident Evil, I couldn't wait for Resident Evil 6. Why? Because unlike the rest of you guys, I embrace change if it's good. So you guys act like the change was to the point where it wasn't even Resident Evil. This is Resident Evil. It plays like Resident Evil. There is nothing in this game that isn't Resident Evil. So for you to sit here and say it plays like other games, or it's trying to be other games, or it's too cinematic, or whatever, you're just full of shit. You're retarded. You need to jump off a cliff, and you need to just stop playing Resident Evil because you obviously don't deserve to play Resident Evil. Resident Evil 6 is great. I'm having such a blast playing it. I loved playing as Leon in the dark, crazy corridors, and the limited ammunition, and the wave after wave of zombies where you're trying to solve puzzles. And how zombies would mutate in the middle of fights and there's chaos everywhere. And how zombies would just jump on you, lunge at you, and grab you in your feet and bring you down. I loved it. Then the final bosses were crazy as shit. Then Chris's campaign, really, really top 5 with the all-out action. It felt like you were just playing mercenaries the entire fucking time, Chris's campaign. And then that was topped off with a really interesting, tight ending. Both, I'm like, whoa, this is great. Like, Resident Evil is such evolved. Like, now it's, you gotta play Resident Evil 6 Leon's campaign and tell me, I dare to tell you that shit ain't fucking awesome. Tell me. If you really approach Resident Evil 6 with an open mind and don't expect it to play like every fucking other Resident Evil game, you're going to enjoy yourself. Because everyone that I've been playing Resident Evil 6 with has said, yo, this is some epic shit. Like, I had one of my friends that say, this may not be the Resident Evil I grew up playing, but you know what? I like it because it tries something new. There's parts of the game where you see the zombies, like, hoarding the streets. Like, we finally get to be in the middle of that. We finally get to fist fight and kick away out of situations. And no, ammunition is not generous in this game. There have been plenty of times I ran out of ammunition. Another thing I like about these websites reviewing the game is they're just straight up lying. One of the fucking websites said the game has frame rate issues. No, it doesn't. Not a single frame rate issue here. I'm playing a PhD version. Not a single fucking dip. Nothing. No issue. The aiming mechanics have changed. Another lie. Nothing's changed. It aims and plays just like Resident Evil 4 and 5. Nothing has changed. They added some recoil, and that's it. They added, in a sense, a perk system that you can change shit like that. You can make it so, you have less recoil when you shoot, less weapon sway. But guess what? It's still Resident Evil 4 and 5 aiming mechanics. So that right there, irrelevant. They're just trying to shun the game for reasons. They can't come up with good reasons. They come up with bullshit. The quick time events are too much. No, they're not. No, they're not. What is so hard about pressing fucking square? What is so hard about that? You press. If you cannot keep up with the very simple quick time mechanics, you're either really retarded or really old, and you shouldn't be playing games in the first place because you can't press fucking square. The quick time mechanics have been in other games like God of War and fucking Castlevania and Resident Evil 4 and 5, and all of a sudden they're an issue. No, negative. There are less quick time events in this game than there are in Resident Evil 4 and 5, and they're simple. You press square a couple times. Wow, so hard. The only complaint I have with this game is sometimes the camera issues are a little annoying. Like sometimes you just get surrounded by zombies, you really can't see your character, and when you aim, the character kind of enters like a kind of first-person view, which is kind of awkward, and that's about it. The game has the dark environments. The game has the good sound effects. The game has the enemies. Finally, a Resident Evil where you face all the fucking monsters in one game. This game has the ambiance. This game has that action feel, that cinematic movie experience. Why are you saying a game sucks because it's new approach? That's bullshit. Have you played the game? Have you beaten the game? The game is cinematic, exciting, in your face, explosions, chaos, and downright fun. You're going to lower a game score because Resident Evil isn't the same slow-paced, non-scary bullshit it once was? You're upset that the game has explosions and chaos and civilians dying in front of you? You're gonna complain that the game you're gonna complain that Resident Evil is being approached from a more movie-like standpoint? The game is fun as fuck. I'm talking about when I played Leon's campaign, when I was done, I sat through the control in my head and I was like, dude, this game is fun as fuck. Are you serious? This was great. And when I played Chris's campaign the entire time, I was like this. I was like, oh, die, die, die. I was like having so much fun. Like, you keep finding these evolved fucking creatures. And no, everyone's like, no, it's not horror. It's not this. Dude, stop being a bitch. Stop being a fucking crybaby bitch. That one guy was like, the Resident Evil 2 was the best in the franchise. That's like saying Final Fantasy VII is the best Final Fantasy. No, it's not. Because you just have so much nostalgia built up, and you remember playing as a kid. You put it on this pedestal that doesn't deserve to be on. Final Fantasy VII is not the best Final Fantasy. Resident Evil 2 is not the best fucking Resident Evil. Accept change, understand the storyline, and realize that Resident Evil was eventually going to evolve into what it is now. A much better game. This game took 3 years to make and over 800 people involved. It is very high budget, and you can feel the high budget when you play the game. It's fantastic, and it will be getting a very positive review from me. But see, I will give the game its negative points where it deserves it. It's not just camera issues. A couple things I don't like. See, I'm an honest reviewer because I tell it how it is. So that's pretty much it for now. I know I'm going to get a lot of people complaining in the comment section. You don't know what you're talking about. No, you don't know what you're talking about. You're stuck in the past. Go suck a dick. I'm going to get people like, well, it tries to be Call of Duty. No, if it tries to be Call of Duty, it will be a first-person shooter with kill streaks. So that makes no sense. Shut up. Go die in a fire. The third one, it didn't have to evolve. Oh, yes, it did. Yes. If Resident Evil came out in this day and age, 2012, with tank controls and slow pace and boring zombies, I would have shitted on the game completely. It's 2012. There are new standards. You do not introduce a game where you can't control your character's aim, you don't dodge, nothing like that. It just is what it is. There are standards. And developers will follow these standards to some extent. Why? Because we are in a new generation of gaming, and that's how games are played. Games, to some extent, all have, just not realism, but better feel for the controls. You're not going to introduce a game that plays like Resident Evil 2 in 2012 and expect it to be praised. Negative. Not happening. I will shit on the game in 2 seconds flat. Why? Because it's 2012, and things that worked in 1999 do not work in this day and age. Stop being fucking idiots. Learn to, accept new games and play with an open mind. Same way I give God of War, a game I dislike, high scores because they deserve it. That's how you should approach Resident Evil 6. Because other than the fact that Resident Evil 6 has some camera issues and a couple of decisions I don't agree with, it is possibly the best Resident Evil in the franchise. Best one. The mix of dark corridors with Leon's campaign to the all-out action in Chris's campaign to the to the constant running away Resident Evil 3 Nemesis style when you play as Jake Mueller, to Ada Wong's seriously hard campaign, to bringing back the mercenaries, and the Demon Souls Dark Souls tribute of Agent Hunt mode, where you get to invade other people's single-player games and fucking play as the zombies, is fantastic. So I will give you guys my full review soon. Catch you guys next video, and peace.